Has been around for quite some time, since 2017. I know that sounds crazy, that it's really not that long, 5 years or so, but in the board game world, it feels like forever, doesn't it? That's Anachrony. And Anachrony is a game by David Turczi, which I really, really enjoy his games. This is one that Dean and I did this thing on our podcast where we had our 100th episode, and he got to pick a game to play with me, and I got to pick a game to play with him. And it was basically, this is a game that for a number of years, I think now, I've said, Dean, you got to play Anachrony. You have to play Anachrony. You have to play Anachrony. And he had never played it. And so we got a chance to play it. I thought, let's just talk about it real quick. So in this game, there's some time travel involved, Dean. There is a point where there is going to be a huge asteroid or meteoroid, I can't remember, that hits the Earth and causes all kinds of destruction. And there's 4 paths. The path of harmony, the path of progress, the path of dominance, and the path of, I don't remember. Anyways.
I don't know. Peace? Something?
No, we don't.
Oh, you said harmony. There we go. Okay, whatever.
And all these paths are vying to say, hey, when this S hits the fan, you need to follow our path as we recreate the world and all these things. But in this game, it's a worker placement game. But some of the interesting pieces are, if you see here on the player board, there are exosuits that you are powering up. So there's 2 places you can send your workers. You can send your workers out to the capital, and when you do that, you have to have an exosuit. Or you can do on your personal buildings, which is to the right of those exosuits there. There's buildings there that you can send your workers out to and do those actions. But you have to pick how many exosuits you're going to power up before you start doing your actions, and maybe Dean takes the one you want. You're like, no, I don't know. And so that's really how the game is pretty much played. Again, halfway through asteroid's going to hit, and throughout the game you can send yourself stuff from the future that you must close the loop by paying back by the end of the game, or paradoxes are going to take place. What did you think?
Yeah, it's a cool game. And keep in mind, I'm being the miniature guy that I am, we played with just the normal version with no miniatures, and I still liked it.
I was going to say,
that's a big deal.
If it had miniatures, it would go up.
It'd be a 12. No, I like this one quite a bit. The thing that scared me from this is hearing that it's a heavier game.
It's not that bad.
It didn't feel that heavy. If a game has like this thematic feeling and it makes sense, the things that you're doing, like it makes sense that I'm sending a scientist to go fetch water or whatever, sending an engineer to go build a building and they get a bit extra benefit. All of those things make sense. And it's really just a pretty, not simple, but it's worker placement.
Worker placement games that are like 4 weights tend to be easier for me to understand.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they can be complex into how good you're going to do. I love this.
But to play well, I do too. For me, I'm somewhere at about a 9 on this one. I don't like to rank. I've only played this one one time, but I absolutely loved it.
I'm like 9.5, 10. It's one of my, I think, top 5 games of all time. Absolutely love it.
Yep.
Anachrony, if you haven't played it, you have to check it out if you like heavier games, Euros.
Yep.
That have cool themes.
Thanks for joining us, and thanks to our Patreon supporters for making content like this possible. If you would like to become a Patreon supporter, go to patreon.com/Meepletown. To follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, find us at Meepletown Games. Finally, to connect with us and other residents of Meepletown, you can join Guild 3407 at BoardGameGeek.com. Until next time, thanks for coming down to Meepletown.